All right, here we are. Another episode of Let There Be Talk. It is Monday evening. The podcast is late. November 25th, just a few days before Thanksgiving. So I'm going to give you guys an all-out happy Thanksgiving right now, a few days early. Or maybe you're listening to this podcast on a plane ride to see some family. Yes, here it is. It's here. Sorry it's late. I have been on a work schedule that is making my fucking head spin, my voice fried, and my brain is cooked. I was trying to get this out last night. I was just too fried and just tapped out. And then I had to get up early this morning for a little physical therapy. Keep that neck going. And then, I recorded 2 podcasts today. Everything always falls on one day. Everything. I don't know if I could just get stuff and say, that's Tuesday, let's do Wednesday, but it doesn't work like that. Everything seems to come on one day. Anyway, enough rambling. Here it is. Andy Kindler is here today. An absolute comedian legend, heavily in the alt comedy scene in the 90s, and of course, just killing it right now at 63 years old. I pray that I am working and doing quality work like Andy Kindler at 63. That's 10 years from now for me, and God, I mean, hats off to this man. He has been in the game most of his life. Hitting the Comedy Store in 1978. Amazing, man. He was there in the 70s and started doing comedy, and he's been doing comedy ever since. And a lot of what he talked to me about, I could relate to, and I learned a lot on this podcast. I love having comedians on once in a while that I can just learn everything from. This guy is this guy is a Yoda of comedy. And it was great to sit down and talk to him. And if you don't know any of his work, dive in immediately and check out all his stuff. We talk all kinds of great stuff, including his once a year keynote speech at JFL, Just for Laughs in Montreal, the semi kind of roasting of the business and comedians in the business, which everybody loves every year to hear. And you can hear some of them on YouTube, I believe. Every year I tune in. I finally got to go to JFL a couple years ago, but before that, I would just tune in. As soon as it was done, someone would post it, and I wanted to hear what he was talking about. And he was on the hit show Everybody Loves Raymond. This guy, like I said, I'm not using the word lightly. This guy is a legend in the comedy world, and it's great to have him on. Before I get the episode going, let's give a shout out to everyone that came out to the Terrapin Station Crossroads show. Terrapin Crossroads. I always call it Terrapin Station because that is my favorite Grateful Dead song. The Terrapin Crossroads show was unbelievable. It was sold out. I saw people there that I have not seen in 35 years. And if you want to hear more about it, go to my patreon.com/Dean Del Rey channel. And I talk all about the Crossroads show, the new LA Auto show that I went to on Sunday, and some other great stuff. Okay, new Patreoners: Corey Schmale, Marvin Godfrey, Danny Butidata. I love it. I just know I fucked that up. Travis Potras, thank you. Welcome to the Patreon channel. Thank you for your support. Real quick, upcoming gigs. December 12th, I will be at the La Jolla Comedy Store doing a Toys for Tots show. Bring a toy, get in free. This is every year. Mike Vinn, my boy Mike Vinn, does the Toys for Tots show at the La Jolla Comedy Store. It's a great cause. I will be headlining that. December 21st, I'm in Vegas with Bill Burr at the Cosmopolitan. December 27th, Caluso Casino with Joey Diaz. December 28th, Palace of Fine Arts with Joey Diaz. Fresno, January 4th. The Comedy Cellar in Vegas, January 13th through the 19th. The Stress Factory in New Jersey, January 31 and February 2nd. Those are the gigs. They're all on DeanDelRey.com. All the ticket links there. I love all you guys. Let's keep the candles lit. Here it is, episode number 504, Mr. Andy Kindler. Oh, all right. Here we are. This is a great guest today. I mean,
I got excited about that.
Yeah, I got to tell you. I mean, I love all my guests, but I've been wanting to talk to you for years, and something very cool happened that I think happens between comedians once in a while. You're in some fucking weird city, and you run into someone at 5 a.m. at the airport that you don't think you're going to see, a comedian. And then you immediately just like it lights up your day. And that happened to you and I in Omaha when I was there with Joey Diaz, which, by the way, Joey says hello.
I hope he's okay.
Yep, he is all right.
We left him at the baggage claim.
Yeah.
That was a major... Now, that wasn't a major mistake. I mean, we wanted to get home. So it's like, as much as you may love another comic, we wanted to get on the shuttle. And who knows how many different... With all of his props... How many different...
His props. That'd be funny if Joey was a prop comic, right?
What did he say? He said, 50-year-old guy, and I'm dressed in a... What shirt did he say he had on?
Batman shirt.
So that was great. He was hilarious. And I've been looking for the those high caliber... Whatever he was taking. Yeah. Whatever made him pull his hamstring, right?
Yeah. I know. I'll hook you up with that, actually. Apex. And then I just gave you the CBD line. We're like old guys. I can't believe, first of all, I said we're like old guys. I'm 53, but you're 63.
Hey, I told you. Didn't my non-PR person tell you? You're gonna have to take that out, and then I will do ADR, additional dial. What is it?
yeah. You'll come over and do
43.
43. You're 43.
27.
You're 10 years younger.
No, I'm 63. There's no way. I used to try and hide a little bit, but by saying like, hey, when you turn 50 in show business.
Yeah.
But now I just say. When you turn 50 in show business, I don't remember what that was like. It was so many years ago. So, yeah, I do this joke from my act. I say they love aging in Hollywood. They love it. So I'm pitching a lot of shows. I'm pitching a show called Aging Jews. Oh, they love it. That's what they look for. They go, what do the more mature people have to say? Maybe people watch Murder, She Wrote, those kind of people. What do they have to say? Get them in my office. I'm sick of this young, youthful, handsome
well, the young
movement.
People aren't watching TV.
Right.
So you need to get some dudes my age or your age on there because people go, now this is what I'm talking about. This ain't that fucking millennials, you know?
Well, also, people who are young, they don't want to necessarily watch people their own age be funny. That's not a prerequisite for comedy.
Yeah.
Like, look, I want a young look. Or something. I mean, even the guys in Saturday Night Live, which was like really influenced me. I mean, they were I guess they were young, but some of them were like 30 or something like that, which would be counterintuitive to rock and roll.
Yeah.
Isn't it worse in music?
Well, it's worse in music, so that's why I thought I kind of was just clueless. I was just dumb. I was like, oh, look at these guys. I love them. You know, Burr, Maron, they're, Rogan. These guys are my age. We're all good. You know, like, you forget it. Well, they've been doing it 25, 30 years. You just, I don't know. I was on the outside, and then I got in. And I never complain, and I don't give a fuck, because in this era, you just build your own thing.
Yeah.
And then one day they come, and you charge them like a motherfucker for it, you know?
Yeah.
It's funny that you talk about Saturday Night Live, because when I was young, that is my whole entryway into comedy. I'm 53. I watched season 1, 2, 3, 4 of Saturday Night Live. Absolutely worshipped it. I was a John Belushi freak. I loved Bill Murray. I loved Caddyshack. I loved, all that kind of those guys. The first run of the Not Prime Time. People, Gilda Radner was Rosanna Anadana. That shit killed me.
Yeah, that was the great, and also SCTV.
Oh yeah,
SCTV,
the Canadian version.
Yeah, but it was more like when SCTV. I always forget the years, but they started to show SCTV on. I think even after Saturday Night Live, and that I began. So by the '80s, I was more even into that. But it's hard to remember everything. I can't remember what years I've watched things, and I've stopped lying about how many things I've seen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I used to be a big liar
about a movie. They're like, "Yeah, you love such and such. Right? God, that's a great one." And then you realize I've never seen that.
I've never seen it, or just in like foreign, foreign films. Like maybe I would lie and go, "Oh yeah, I've seen a lot of French films. I haven't seen any of them." No, maybe I've seen a couple by now, but the lying has to go. I've seen a couple of Bergmans, so, yeah. But the lying is you get caught eventually, unless you're Trump. But even he looks like...
Yeah. Well, I've never seen The Big Lebowski, and I love the Coen brothers.
I just saw The Big Lebowski.
Isn't that weird?
I just saw it. I the same way. I would love the Coen brothers. Never saw it. I never wanted to see it on one level because everybody I knew... I was from a generation where people were still saying, dude. Oh, yeah. So it was already old. Yeah. Dude, but then when you watch it, you go, "Oh, this is the greatest."
I gotta see it.
You still haven't seen it? No. Oh no, you'll enjoy it. It's really great.
Weird.
It's not weird because the thing is, if you say I saw it, I was 7 years older than you when you saw it. Yeah. So you have, there's nothing but time, and if we believe,
you hope so.
What's that?
You hope so.
No, I know that.
Yeah,
I'm ready for the hammer to drop. I don't expect to get out of this podcast alive. I'm armed for some reason. I'm open I know it was weird. You're like, why do you have a pistol on your hip? No.
Yeah. That's weird. It's not even an open carry state. You come to the podcast, you got
with
a gun. And you don't seem like a gun holder.
Look, that's the thing. I play against type. No, but as you get older, I think you can back me up on this. Not quite as old, but you start thinking about death more. I used to think about death as a kid. I thought we were going to live forever. Then I was 5 years old or 7 years old. Oh my God, we're going to die. I remember like, oh, how is it possible that we're going to die?
Yeah.
But then I put it aside for a while.
You do put it aside.
Yeah, especially when you're like 18 to 30. It's not like you feel like you're invincible, but you don't worry about.
Nope.
You
don't necessarily care. You're like, maybe I'll be out. I'm a fucking badass.
Except I carried when I took PCP by mistake.
Oh shit!
Like in the early '80s.
That happened to me. Tell me what happened. That happened to me. Ooh, it's brutal.
Well, they were selling stuff, and a lot of times you can just blame yourself. They were selling stuff called THC. These blue capsules. You didn't buy THC separate.
Never even heard of that until 5 years ago.
Yeah, so. It was PCP what we had bought, so I had a couple of like weird trips because it wasn't very powerful. And then one time I went to a party, and the guy told me it was like another thing that it wasn't, like snorting mescaline or something.
Yeah,
and I snorted like the smallest, whitest piece of powder.
Yeah.
And within 20 minutes, I thought I was going to die. It was the middle of winter in New York. I was draped over an air conditioner.
Oh, shit.
It was a party with my cousins were there, and I was the older cousin. And like, hey, Andy, how you doing? I'm good.
Oh, my God.
I'm good. And then it was like, one of the maybe 7 or 8 times in my life that I thought, and usually from LSD, besides this, I'm going to die.
Yeah.
Because you can die from PCP.
Oh, yeah. You saw the school videos. You jump out the window. You rip handcuffs off.
Yeah.
You go over the overpass.
That's right.
That's all.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. You know what's so interesting? You say that, and I certainly hope that people aren't going to think differently than me that I bought THC and it was PCP. But these blue tablets that were going around that turned out to be PCP, we didn't know about PCP when I started. I mean, we heard about it.
Yeah. It was big in New York. You always heard about like Dusted or
Right.
Sherms or Crazy Eddies. There's all these names.
Yeah.
And you hear about it in the early hip hop songs, you know. And I also heard it from the Beastie Boys. They were always singing about it.
But I would know. I was at the age where I knew that's not what you would. I would if someone tried to sell me PCP,
I wouldn't
forget
fuck
it.
with
So I noticed in the first few trips that were just horrible trips, and you kind of liked it and didn't like it. I started to get angry at my friend. It's like I'm like a small guy who is can be harmless, and I start to go, hey, what the fuck is your thing? And he's like, what the fuck is your thing?
Yeah.
And then we didn't realize you start to, and now I thought back about that, not now, way back then when I knew after all those experiences what I had done. I was like, yeah, it makes you feel aggressive.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's like I'm not aggressive, and automatically, and I couldn't even sense it. That's the scary part. I couldn't even sense that that's what was happening. I was so focused on what my friend was saying. What the fuck is he doing? You know, and it started to ramp up, and that's interesting because I survived that. I don't know. I could be a researcher.
Were you a big drug guy when you were young? I loved drugs when I was young. You're just bulletproof. You're out you'll snort anything. You don't even ask what it is.
Well, yeah, I used to do this joke about how, go to a Grateful Dead concert and someone would come up in their hand and they would have they put their palm out and they'd be covered with pills and they go, take 3, they're weak.
Take 3, they're weak.
Yeah. So it's like, we didn't even know what they were. All we knew was that 2 would not be enough, right? So yeah, but also when I grew up, though, I was when I was starting to be a comic, because I wanted to be a musician, and then I became a comic. I was very focused on like James Honeyman Scott and these guys who had, taken, I don't even know if they like in his case, he was on the guitarist for the Pretenders.
Yeah.
I don't know that he was a druggie. It was like
he was a heroin addict, wasn't he?
Oh, I didn't know that.
I mean, I think I could be wrong.
That I didn't know, but I related to it like, yeah, I could take a pill that I didn't know what it was, and I think so. I was pretty careful once I was an adult, of not not at a Grateful Dead concert and with people I don't know. I would have been, but I could see myself doing it. That's the thing.
Yep.
If you could be so close to, he's a friend of a guy who you knew, and he said it was cool. Ecstasy.
Yeah, this is cool. Oh my, you're a Deadhead. I'm a huge Deadhead now. Growing up, I hated the Dead, but now, in the last, I'd say 15 years, oh my God.
Well, you have a completely different. Like I was a musician growing up, but I was into like the Dead.
Yeah.
So I was actually in a band where we played Dead.
No
stuff.
shit.
And then
What'd you play?
I played guitar and I wrote songs and I was like a singer-songwriter, guitarist person. I was in a band where we did a lot of like all kinds of stuff. But it was also the time period where Fleetwood Mac came out and where music was starting to change in different ways. But like I wish people would be as into Fleetwood Mac as I am. People group them in there with like, pop.
Oh yeah,
but they're great.
So are you talking early Peter Green, Fleetwood Mac, or the?
I don't even know that. I just know those 2 albums. I don't know the one before they all came together, but the one Rumors and Fleetwood Mac.
That shit is so intricate and radical.
Yeah,
I just love the.
But you came from a different thing, right?
Well, I come from everything growing up in the Bay Area. I just loved it all. I loved like Prince, then I loved AC/DC, and then I loved, Johnny Cash. I just didn't like the Dead because I was in the melting pot of it, and it was all these Trustafarian hippies.
Yeah.
And then once Metallica came around, I was like, yeah, this is my Dead. Get out of here,
That's what I missed. Yeah. I know Brian Posehn. I have a lot of friends, but I don't know nothing about that whole, except for Led Zeppelin.
Oh, yeah,
I know nothing about like any of that music.
Did you ever have you dove into it even at this age?
Well, I was lucky to meet Maynard. And so I've listened to more of the group that it was after.
Pussifer,
and then the one, but also the group before that he came out of was One or something. I don't know.
Yeah, Tool is just
Tool, right? But then Tool was something. Anyway, Tool.
The one he did, with the guitar guy. Fuck, what did they call? my brain has been working lately too.
Well, the good thing is if you're listening to this,
Yeah.
you can take a break. We won't talk about anything heavy right now, but you can look up
Yeah.
who that was. But beyond that, it is almost like there's an old Jew part of me that's like, oh, you can't with the thing and the screaming and the yelling. I mean, I can go to Nirvana. I can get that. I can do. Or as people used to make fun of me when I would say Nirvana. But I actually don't know enough about that kind of music. But I want to be mature enough to say, obviously, there's stuff there. I just can't,
Yeah. I mean, did you get into the punk in the 70s, late 70s?
More now.
Oh, now, yeah, right.
More now, like that. I'm aware that I knew that the Ramones were great.
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't know. I got really into Talking Heads in '77.
Killer.
And I was almost obsessed with them throughout the early 80s.
Did you go to CBGB's and see them and stuff?
No, because I had moved out here already.
Oh.
I was a real scared person. I didn't go as a musician. I was in cover bands.
Yeah.
I was afraid. I moved out here in '78, and I wasn't gonna. And the music scene was unbelievable here. It was like the Clash and not the Clash, but I mean the
like X,
right?
Yeah,
And
Black Flag.
Yeah, and they all came up, so there was a big explosion. And who's the guys? The two guys. Dave Alvin and Phil Alvin.
The
Blasters.
The Blasters.
So I was crazy about that music, but I didn't feel, for some reason I had no confidence, and so I couldn't go out I never went to those clubs. So I thought I would do original music during the day, and it was just young and really feeling down on myself, and I kind of struggled for years. And then comedy was way different. I didn't go to do covers in comedy.
Yeah. I always said that, like, eventually I think there's going to be cover comedians in Vegas where they look just like Seinfeld, and they catch Seinfeld in his classic '89 tour.
Yeah, that's really great.
I truly believe that's going to happen. Any way they can kind of cash it.
Because it could happen musically more easily, right?
Oh, well, they do it musically. They'll do a guy that does exact
that's what I
Neil
was thinking.
Diamond or
Right,
Elvis. So we're going to see a Carlin. It's going to be like, see Carlin, 84, do his who's the baseball versus football, whatever. I believe that's going to happen. It's pretty crazy.
Or it could be jokey-okey.
Yeah.
You like a karaoke?
Jokey-okey.
Yeah.
You go up and you do a guy's bit. Some people are doing jokey-okey now.
That's right. They're doing it without the formal.
Yeah.
They're the mainspring of it.
Yeah.
Can I have Seinfeld 87? Okay. Who are these people? What's the deal with playing cards?
My favorite bit he ever did was when I was young, I was a Seinfeld freak. I'd go see him all the time. I was just into it. Like,
wait, so you grew up in San Francisco?
Yeah, the Bay Area, yeah.
And where'd you go see him?
I would see him at the Circle Star. I would see him in Reno. I'd see him in Vegas.
Wow, were you like a comedy maven?
I was a comedy freak. But I just didn't know how to do it, so I never did it. I just played music, and
you were playing music at the time, right?
I was playing music at the time, but I'm in San Francisco. The '80s is giant. You got Kerry Snow and Bobby Slayton and that morning crew. You got Tree. You got Bobcat. You have Robin Williams. That's just massive.
And that time period was unbelievable with the Other Cafe, the first Other Cafe.
It was crazy.
Like I'm not crazy about. Well, he's very angry all the time. But I loved Rob Schneider's stand-up when he used to come.
Rob Schneider?
Yeah, and Mike Meehan and all these people. I mean, I started comedy in '84 and went on my own in '86. So I was on the road between '87 and '92. So I used to come up all the time and play this club in Sacramento called Laughs Unlimited that didn't pay well,
right.
But they were famous for not paying well. But then I would go into San Francisco and I would see all these amazing people.
Well,
Holy
people
City
were moving
Zoo
there for the scene.
Yes,
like
it was
Maron
amazing.
Moved there. These people. It was a destination of.
You could
comedy.
name 20 or 30 really brilliant comics who
it was
were there.
I remember comedy was so big, like they call it now the second boom, but it was so big that every shit bar from Santa Rosa, California to San Jose had a comedy night. It was
Yes.
crazy.
It couldn't. I may even argue that there was too much comedy, but by that time, it started to see when San Francisco went from those great clubs and Cobb's
Yeah.
to
Purple Onion?
no, well, what do they call it? They still one of them still there. I actually went there.
Punchline?
No, it's in like in the south, and it's like where Silicon Valley is.
Oh,
is
Tommy
where-
T's?
Yes, Tommy
Oh,
T's.
yeah.
Right now, I don't. I think I did Tommy. I didn't do well there.
Yeah.
But but they were very nice people. But there's when you go, that started to become. When it was a boom and there were too many comics, then there became of those kind of one-nighter type rooms, and that was like not the scene of like San Francisco, you know.
Let's talk about it. You moved to LA to play music. Your story is so similar to mine as far as you played music. I played music for years. And then you moved to LA to become like you want to be like a songwriter, musician.
Yeah.
And you land here. And at what time do you just tap out? What makes you tap out? Do you go to the Comedy Store one night? Are you at the Improv? What happens?
Well, what happened was when I first went to the like you, I was very similar to you. I didn't think about doing stand up, but I was a huge because I was doing music, but I was doing music like I say, really small time. But I came out here, I went to the Comedy Store in '78. I said, "This is the greatest thing ever," and I just absolutely loved it. But I couldn't. I didn't think about doing it. So when I was doing music and wanting to be, original thing, I started to get so frustrated and so angry at myself. Now I realize because I've had therapy and just recently three years of therapy, and I've looked back and it was like I was so hard on myself. I really, really kind of hated myself on some level, and had done like a lot of theater in college and had done a lot of music in college, and came out crushed that I couldn't just come out here. Hey, here's my resume from college.
Yeah.
So I was so depressed, and then I started to have a series of day jobs. So I sold stereos.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you had them up in San Francisco. University Stereo and Pacific Stereo, and
I know Pacific Stereo, yeah.
yeah. And who was that one guy? It was who was Shadow Stevens.
Shadow Stevens.
Yeah, he had he sold Federated. For Federated, Shadow Stevens for Federated. So I did all these, and then at a company picnic at the stereo store, this guy Bill, who was a friend of mine, I met him at the store. I started doing impressions of everybody, and he said, "Hey, you should try comedy." And so I started with him. I wouldn't have even started if it wasn't for him. And maybe I would have. I think I would have. Like say, but so then all of a sudden that was a completely different world. There was no question as to how to go about doing it, which I still think is great about comedy. It's very egalitarian. Music, there's so many gatekeepers, and there's so few clubs, and there's it's hard. I really felt lucky, and then also I didn't realize, which like I always tell people, if anyone ever wants advice, I feel like I took my sense of humor for granted. Like I just thought everybody was funny. My family was funny.
Yeah.
So I didn't even, and I was so determined to be the next Bob Dylan or whatever.
Oh yeah,
But
right.
Yeah. So sometimes the things that you do well, you take for granted. You don't even realize they're a skill.
Well, also, I would always hear from people, and it kind of gets to you after a while, like, dude, you're so funny. You should do comedy after your music gig. And you're going like, because I'd tell stories and stuff in between songs, and then it would just kill you. It'd make you like, rebel even more, like, fuck you.
Oh, are you talking, if you're talking about the same thing that I'm talking about, I always found it hard. I wanted to talk more when I played music, and it was always shot down.
Oh, well, when I would tour towards the end, solo.
Well, I mean, like when you
acoustic.
first start. Okay,
Because I had to say,
They
I
wanna
couldn't
hear you
afford a
talk.
band anymore.
Right.
So then you're telling stories and people are laughing, and I would riff on people if they were doing dumb shit in the crowd.
Yeah, so that must have been fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I knew, and also I worshipped comedy growing up. I wanted to be a comedian, seeing John Belushi. I wanted to be on Saturday Night Live. I truly wanted to be on there. I just didn't know how to do it. I was a kid. I didn't know. It didn't seem like you could do it. I mean, Saturday Night Live was in New York, and the comics all looked old. They had sideburns, but they're only 20. But to me, they looked like they were 40,
Yeah.
And then later,
New York's frightening, though.
What's
like
that?
I find growing up in New York was frightening.
Oh, I bet.
To me, I grew up in Queens, so to me, I hated LA when I first got there. Now I love it. I love it to death.
Yeah.
But it was like New York would have been. I'm kind of glad how everything worked out because New York was like has an intensity to it. In the late 80s, I would go back to New York and work. It was a whole different scene there. It was very much more a not blue collar, but more. It was much more what was happening with comedy everywhere. It was getting very, like fake, tough, in your face kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Now, then it changed because they had like an alternative renaissance, like in the '90s, both in L.A. and in New York. So now I feel it's a whole. I feel like it's a great place to live if you want to be a comic.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, so that's why I could see people not coming here. But I love Los Angeles because we don't have an attitude like we're the best.
Yeah,
It's like and like San Francisco has an attitude like we hate LA, and LA doesn't even really know that the feud
Isn't that
exists.
hilarious?
Yeah,
I always say, like, I grew up in the Bay Area, and I'm like, they're like, oh man, you moved to LA, a sellout, stuff like that.
yeah.
I'm
So
like,
where does that come from? Do you think?
I have no idea. It's some absurd, almost a sport mentality, sporting team. Like LA's a team, and I could think it could be involved in sports also, like fuck the Dodgers or whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
To me,
Definitely that's a big rivalry. But yeah,
the way I look at it is like, hey man, we're all in California, so we're winning.
well, that's true.
Other than the fucking shit gas prices and some other things, but dude, we all live in California.
Right.
Like I could see people in like Oklahoma like fuck LA. I got a tweet once. I said beautiful day in LA. A guy said fuck LA, and I opened up his Twitter account, and he lived in Toledo.
Yeah, he doesn't want to
I
hear.
was like, dude, you don't get to fuck LA. What are you talking about?
You should say what he really meant was I don't like Toledo.
Yeah.
And I hate Toledo. Maybe he even hates Toledo.
Yeah.
And sometimes even living in Toledo, he says fuck Toledo. So then when you come on and go, nice day in LA, he goes, fuck LA. See? Misplaced anger.
Yeah.
The perfect example of misplaced anger. As if getting mad at you living in look, if you live in Toledo, I know I'm just kidding. But Toledo's like almost like the go-to city when you think of a nondescript kind of city. So I've never even been there. I don't even really know what it's like.
Yeah.
But obviously, that guy has a little chip on his shoulder.
Oh, to just shoot fuck LA out on Twitter for
Fuck
no
LA.
reason. You're like, what? Where's the backstory? Did you move out here and tap out? Did your girlfriend ditch you for an LA surf dude? Or I don't know.
Well, the other thing is there's some truth to, like, there is a truth to the LA laid back or whatever stereotype or phony stereotype. But that's true of, like, a certain thing. It's
but
like.
I've met some phony people in New York.
Yes, there's phony people
Holy
everywhere.
Shit, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
Especially when you can be phony. Like in New York, like the comics used to be, hey, give me fucking, not every comic because they were great comics, but like, hey, fucking, hey, this guy says this to me. I go, oh yeah, let me tell you, you fucking right? No way. That kind of comment. I'm not even doing it right.
Busting balls over here, you fuck face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, this comic Bill Sheff used to have a bit about how, you go down to these barbecues, down south or something where they go make your own steak or something, which I've never heard that place. He goes, yeah, I'm going to pay you $7. I'm going to do the cooking, that kind of a thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And, of course, I used to have a joke because when I first started, that was I'm not making fun of that joke, but I can make fun of everybody's joke, and that's how I'm in the trouble I'm in. Yeah. But I used to have a joke. And I'm not saying it was a great joke, but the joke was...
oh, someone's at the door. Hold on.
And we're pausing.
That's weird.
Hey, who came to visit the podcast? Wow. You arranged that. I think that is... I can't even believe it. That is so cold, dude. That is the coldest thing. I can't believe with the guy dropping it off. Say, can you make sure to come by during this time, then? Oh, I wonder who that is. It's the script for that movie I'm going out for.
Yeah.
From my management company.
Yeah, that's what I'm fucking doing. You know what it is? It's a T-shirt from Pete Yorn, and he sent it to my manager.
I appreciate that you let me go on, though. That was good.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I want to talk to you, Andy, about comedy because you remind me a lot of me when I was in the music world of you take comedy, it's your life. I love comedy more than anything now. And I can't even believe that That's why I said it. There's no bitterness with me. I'm like just so happy to be in this business, and I try to bust my ass and be good. But you remind me a lot of me when I was in the music business, where you are the gatekeeper in your mind, right? And me with music, like this fucking band, this song, these fucking guys, but there is an interesting thing about you that I love, and it's you love what you do. And, one of your great things, you talked about you get in trouble because you talk about people's comedy.
Right.
But you've always kind of checked people. If you were a hockey player, you check them into the wall and say, hey, that's hacky or whatever. So
I like that analogy.
It really is.
Yeah.
And I think there is it's an interesting world where I do think that they need a world needs an Andy Kindler.
I'm glad you said that because the alternative isn't good.
But, I'm sure if you saw my stand-up, you'd be like, this fucking guy. Are you able to be friends with someone if you don't like their comedy?
Oh, I mean, this is a long time ago. I'm not going to reveal who the comic was about because I wouldn't do that. But in this case, it's not my thing. But my friend was saying that he was saying that he was trying to arrange a dinner for all three of us, and then he was like, but his other friend, or four of us, his other friend was like, well, I don't like that guy's. It was like me, bum. He goes, well, I don't like the other guy's act. And he goes, you're not going to go to dinner with the guy because you don't like his act? Yeah. So, I mean, I never really even, I don't really, except when it comes to people like Dennis Miller, who I think is actively mean, or people who are lowering the bar on purpose. I really, and because I have that thing where I do like a once a year almost roast. And over the years, I mean, if there's growth in my life, and I think there definitely is, and I credit a lot to Prozac and therapy, and I'm not saying that's the only thing that did it, but I used to get into very, like I would get in my mind the feud part of it or something. I would always get into it's like one year I had a thing with like Adam Carolla, because I said he was like saying, I was basically saying he's kind of a racist. He says racist things. And so when it gets into that kind of and then I was afraid he was going to beat me up. This is before I got into therapy. I realized that my big fear is getting beaten up.
Yeah.
But the fear underneath that is the truth I was missing underneath that was that I always thought that I wasn't a man when I was younger because I couldn't fight.
Right.
In fact, I took Taekwondo for years, not just to combat that, but one of the reasons. And then in therapy, a year in, she's like, why would you, like all these fights I've avoided? So you really think the answer was to fight? It's like, and I realized my life was like living like a movie. Like, I'm not the Karate Kid. Yeah. I'm not the guy in
My Bodyguard.
My Bodyguard. One tin. What's the one? One Tin Soldier. What's Billy Jack?
Yeah, Billy Jack.
And so it's like that. If I had done that, I might have been dead by now. And it's not make me less manly that I don't want to fight.
Yeah.
So as all these things came out, and I realized that a lot of what I was doing was because I was angry about certain things, and sometimes they were based on my own insecurities. So I'm confronting these things, and I used to be so scared of, like with the year I went after Adam Carolla. I mean, I really felt like I could get hurt. And when I went at Anthony of Opie and Anthony, it was all about stuff I believe in. I mean, I just didn't like, so it's like this, whatever you're saying you're doing, this is racist, what you're saying here. And then one year I went to Seinfeld, so I had this joke where I was like, I'm not worried about Seinfeld fans coming after me. I was like, who's this guy that doesn't like Jerry? You look out your window and there's a whole bunch of puffy shirt people out there. What's the deal with this guy saying negative things about Jerry? But in the last couple of years, I've realized that I need to try and let that thing go. Like, when I can let that go, it means like I can do the speech not saving America, but saying things that stick in my craw or things that are like funny.
Right.
As opposed to I'm right and you're wrong, And so, I mean, or like I made jokes about Leno because I should make jokes about him because my jokes about him are changing the planet. I mean, it's not really true. So I've actually, I think, gotten more mature about it. And that part of that is also, once I let go of the fear of getting punched and I really let go of it,
Yeah.
I was so caught in the terror of thinking about getting in a fight that when I realized I don't have to get in a fight, it just was like, there's nothing you can say, like on Twitter, there's nothing anyone can say that's going to get me to the point where, okay, I'll meet you at the corner of Schmeckel and Schminky.
Yeah.
I'm not meeting you out there.
Yeah.
So then you let go of that as a power, and I feel much, much more safer as a person, you know?
There is good stuff, though, to what you do, because I think...
I hope so. I'm just kidding.
I believe this, though, because it does keep an industry in check when people start to get big-headed or they're mowing over other people or whatever, and you call them out on that. I believe in that kind of stuff.
Or if it's a court jester, it's like a court jester.
Yep, and I also truly believe in keeping an art form. I love comedy, as cheesy as it sounds. Yeah, I would like to be big and rocking, but I also am completely fine with working at the Comedy Store the rest of my life.
That is the main thing.
It's all I care
It's all it is.
It's all I care about is getting on stage, getting stage time at the store or the cellar or Comedy Works in Denver. These rooms that mean so much to me, and being able to keep the bar up to where they don't go, we're fucking this guy, you know. So I like to have that kind of Andy Kindler on my shoulder of like, at least it makes me strive to be as good as I can be.
Right. I can see that.
That's what I want to be. And that is really, you need a guy around like that once in a while.
But Todd Glass is like that too. Because Todd Glass is basically saying, you know, do you really need to, is that thing you say about gay people that funny?
Yeah.
So he does a whole thing where, hey, if you want to do that joke. But really, is that... Because that was true about Seinfeld when he was a few years ago going, I don't play colleges anymore. I don't go near me because he did a joke about a gay French king. Like you look at your clock like a gay French king, and it's not like they booed him, but it didn't kill.
Yeah.
So then it's like he went to a whole thing. You can't. These people are too sensitive. But the truth is, in 10 years from now, 20 years from now, you're not going to be able. If you look back at Johnny Carson in the '80s, it looks like a homophobia parade.
Oh yeah.
It's just everyone's like doing jokes about gay people or about feeling gay, whatever it is. Things change.
Things change.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you have to change. You're just not going to get the same laugh on the gay French king.
Well, I think eventually people get so big that they're used to the safety net of their crowd.
That's true. That's very true.
Constantly working their crowd, and then one day they're in a situation where it's not their crowd. Last night I did a show in front of 60, 70-year-old vets. The promoter didn't tell me it was going to be old people and their vets.
Why wouldn't they say that?
I don't know. I'm doing a show at the Memorial Vets Hall in Orange County. I go, yeah, cool, I'll do it. I thought he's just renting
You were
the
in
venue.
Orange County.
Yeah, Orange County.
God.
I'm in the Orange Curtain. Yeah. And I show up and I'm like, all right, well, I've been in this situation before. Let's do this. Let's start digging in. And I found it, and it turned out to be great. I think what I love about Bill Burr a lot is he'll go in all different rooms to see what's going on. And I even talked about it last night with somebody. I would do a lot of UCLA shows.
I've been over there too. Yeah.
And that really sets you into, okay, I can get this going here.
Right.
And you don't want to be like, okay, I cater to this crowd only. And you also don't want to be hacky like everyone loves my act. So you want to find that in between.
The way you're saying is so true because, like, I was lucky that I came up in a time period where I played 40 weeks a year for like 5 years. So I'm trying to think, are you exaggerating? No, that's about right, Andy. Don't exaggerate.
Yeah.
So I have played the worst one-nighters and, for me and all this kind of stuff. Now, it's not like I go out of my way. Now, I don't feel it's like I'm being, like, precious by saying if something is not going to be a fit for me, like
Right.
opening up at an outdoor
Well,
concert
at this point in your career.
Yeah, it's like you want to. I'm not trying to look for bad situations, but the fact that I've had them is absolutely made me a better comedian because
Yeah.
there just is. The first time, there's some people who never get upset, but the first time I was horribly rejected, it was horrible. It's
God,
like
it's brutal.
Yeah, it's more than the jokes. You feel as if you're like
You're the piece of shit.
and I was hyper into being down on myself, but there could be that thing of like when you're at an open mic night or something, and it's almost sad or something.
Yeah.
So it's like I hated that when people would be like, I know it's bad. I'm telling you it's bad.
Yeah.
So it's like, but when they get that silent, I feel so poor for, I hope he gets through it. That's no good. That's no fun.
It's no fun at all. It's no fun at all. And it's part of the thing.
Yes, it is.
So weird. It's like mining for gold. You're just on stage, and all of a sudden you shimmy the pan, and you go, fuck, there's some flakes in there. Oh, this bit's starting to work. Oh, God, I've got a bit. And then, you're working it for a while, and then you go somewhere, and it just eats it. And you're going like, what happened? You're back to zero.
Well, that's the thing too. A lot of times, I mean, I'm a big fan of alternative, what they call alternative comedy. And I was part of different movements and stuff. But I could see that sometimes there was the insulation of that they only had the people who grew up in that movement only had done certain things that fit those crowds.
100%, brother.
And you can limit yourself to that, but as soon as you open up to bigger things, I guess everyone hates having a bad reaction at first. But when I started, you really couldn't pick the clubs, Now you can pick clubs, obviously people can see you online and stuff like that. So when you don't expose yourself to these other situations, you're just going to be a very insular kind of comic is the danger.
I saw that a lot when I started. The alt kind of comedy really, really hit in the 90s. But even, I would say, 6-7 years ago, let's talk about some of the shows, 12 Shiny Nickels, shows at the Virgil. And then, of course, Meltdown became a huge one.
Oh, great. And in fact, I want to say I'm a big proponent of how comedy is going. I feel like the stuff that's happening today,
fantastic.
It's just anybody can do it. I mean, you can be any gender. I mean, it's like in the old when I started, people were afraid to say they're gay. There's so many, and there are people doing there's like Lisa Traeger.
Oh, yeah.
I just love her. I never would have thought I'd love sexual material that much. So I'm opening up to more things, too. So I think now, so you're right. When that whole thing happened with those clubs you were talking about,
it was funny when I was going in there at the time. Though the comics were completely cool. It was the kind of the people on the outside that were like these fake gatekeepers that would be like, "What are you doing here? You're a store comic." But eventually, everybody kind of dropped that stuff. And started to cross pollinate. A lot of people.
I would hope that's happening now because it's like
time. Now it's great.
I hate when people think that I'm First of all, I hate that I think that people are thinking about me because they're not. But when people think I'm like a snob or I don't know what I'm looking at over there. They're a snob or something like that.
Alt guy, gatekeeper.
Or it's like that's not what I'm. It's like to me. I played guitar before I got into comedy.
Yeah.
So but there were a lot of comics doing these really bad song parodies through the 80s. And it was funny to me. So the idea of it's like the idea that you could have like Fly of the Conchords or anything or all these different groups that are. I would never rule out a guitar in comedy, or anything, any form. I ruled
it out right away.
Well, I did for myself.
Yeah, for myself.
Yeah.
Because I was so like, music is music, and comedy is comedy.
Well, that was a really amazing decision to make at that time because I think you would brought the guitar right in. You would have been like, ooh. You would have just been continuing what you were doing. You would have used it as a.
That's right.
As a just an axe, not an axe. What is it?
A crutch.
Crutch, yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't tell anybody I played music when I started.
That's so great.
At all. I just came in and I just took the abuse and the hazing, and look at this old guy. Oh, midlife crisis, all that stuff. And I just kept my nose to the ground and kept going. And then later, people were like, hey, I saw you were in a movie. I didn't tell anybody I did any movie. I didn't want, because I don't want to go actor trying to do comedy, ex-musician trying to do comedy. All these gatekeepers, these patio people.
Yes.
You know, that you're going through. It's like a sea of just negativity. And I'm in there like, hey, my own enemies are cancer, heart attacks, global warming.
That's right.
I don't, are you kidding me? You think I give a fuck about any of this? I just weaved right through,
Well, you have a very resilient personality, which I don't think I have.
Or I could be stupid.
No, I think it's like, well, the other part of it is when you have, when you've had a Dylan level motorcycle accident, and you've had all these things, it's like you've already had things in your life that are enough to be upset about and wake you up.
Well, there was one year I got ran over on the motorcycle, hit and run, diabetes, and kicked out of my apartment, all in 1 year. And one was like 2 weeks after the motorcycle crash. I didn't get evicted. Just the landlord, after 13 years, was like, I'm going to have you move. My daughter's moving in. I'm like, oh, dude, I got broke ribs here. Oh, don't worry. We're going to give you 3 months. I'm like, 3 months? I've been here 13 years. So it was like, 3 horrible things. And I think what kept me going was, I can get out of bed and go do comedy. This is fucking great.
Yes.
And that's what kept me going. If I had a shit job at 53 and miserable, I would have been like, I'm done. I'm done in life. And I can get
Let's
dark.
wrap it up.
I can get dark. But there was guys that were really driving me. I loved you. I loved, Marin was really early on a savior to my mind. Seeing someone my age being able to talk, and then Burr, and just being able to talk to these guys that weren't competitive and were just into other stuff I was into, like music or books or not video games and getting high or whatever. It was just it was incredible to me to be.
Well, also that's age.
Age.
It's like when I think back now, all before Louis C.K. and all these things. It's like I had. So much envy and jealousy, which was also part of my problem. Was I wouldn't acknowledge it, but was so guilty about it.
Yeah.
But now I've realized through like therapy, it's like, you can have these feelings. There's nothing wrong with these feelings. It's when you deny them that you start to get fucked up. But when I can really say, all I care about is enjoying myself, and exactly what you're saying is doing stuff. Feel so blessed that I haven't gotten that I still love comedy.
Dude,
like the day
it's
I
63.
started. Yeah,
I mean,
there's no difference in how much I love it.
I guarantee, if we wrote down all the guys that you started with, no one's doing it anymore.
I'm lucky to have started out with, and there's a great number of people. There's I started out like with Paul Feig.
Oh, wow.
And I started out with Apatow. And,
wow.
And a whole bunch of people who. That's also the other part of it is I started out with people who have had different kind of varying career. It's like it's so exciting to see the different varieties of it. But when I was 30 years ago or 20 years ago, maybe even 10, 15 years ago, I was still driven by this. What have I done? What's my legacy? Things like you reject as stupid.
Right.
But then through therapy, I go, well, you can't deny you're feeling this way. You can't deny, like, when I die, no one's going to care about me. And then you get through all that stuff to who cares about that is a fiction.
Yeah.
Even if I was Raymond instead of a recurring character and everybody loves Raymond, I'd like to convince, you could make me make a strong argument right now. I would have had a better life, right? I could say that, right?
Yeah.
But it's not true. It is not true because, well, Ray and I both have the same OCD.
Yeah.
And he has a heart thing. I'm not rooting against him. I'm just saying it's like the grass is always greener. You always think that people
always greener. And
the happiness is not based on the thing that you achieved, unless you want to call achieved the ability to do stand up or whatever you want to do, the ability to create stuff.
I absolutely love Raymond. I loved the show, that show, and then I loved the one called Men of a Certain Age.
Oh my God, I love that show. That show was made for us. I mean, I'm the older.
Right, yeah.
I'm the elder statesman in the group.
I think that show, and
Unbelievable.
I talked to him at the cellar at the table, and I also think he is an American, just a jewel. When I see that man, I smile. It's pretty bizarre.
He's first of all, you're talking about Raymond, right?
Yeah.
He's an amazing actor.
Oh God!
And-
The Irishman. I just saw him on The Irishman. This fucking guy, man. And I loved his new special. I watched him work it out at the cellar, and he's talking about his kids. It is fantastic.
He's always been an amazing stand-up comic. You know, he was a great, amazing stand-up comic going in. But I think it's a perfect lesson about perceptions. And like you say, you know, people, now you're, musician guy's doing comedy now. Oh, yeah. son of a actor's acting. It's like he was so. People, I know a lot of people like, oh yeah, he's good as he when he first started on Raymond, so he maybe had some adjustment time, but he's a great actor, you know. And I think people did want to pigeonhole and say they do want to do that thing. They go because there are people like who's the guy from the Family Guy, who's like the inventor of it or the
which guy?
The guy who wrote Family Guy, and he's.
Oh.
And all of a sudden he wants to be a crooner.
Yeah.
So he's like, that kind of stuff I do get suspicious about. I'm not going to say he can't do it.
Yeah.
But when you can, okay, I want to be Frank Sinatra. I can pay for that experience.
Yeah.
That I can be suspicious about. But in general, it's like the stuff he's done, Ray, and he was great in the thing with, I can't think of it. Kumail was in that movie. Kumail.
Oh no, that movie's amazing.
And he's funny, as his father.
Holy shit, he's killer on The Big Sick.
Yeah,
I love this man, but that show, I told him straight to his face, and it was great because I know a lot of people are like, big fan of Everybody Loves Ray. I know he's heard that a million times, like Dylan. Oh, I love everybody, whatever. Like people, they just get hit with the one thing.
I love Everybody Loves Raymond. They say to Dylan.
Yeah,
thank you very much. I enjoyed being on that show.
But when I sat next to him at the cellar and I said, hey, man, I just want to tell you that Men of a Certain Age was some of the greatest TV writing I'd seen in years. And he goes, it's just a bummer that more people didn't see that. And I said, you are fucking correct.
It's a bummer they didn't let it play.
I know.
There's never a reason. That show was on trying to find an audience and when TV was changing.
It was changing.
Yeah.
It was at the wrong time.
And everybody who recognizes me from Raymond, almost everybody did not everybody, but many of those Raymond fans, they don't like that show.
That's what's crazy.
That's what's crazy about it because
it's like a band when they go, whatever happened to the Black Crowes? They go, what do you mean? They put out like 7 records. You ditched them after She Talks to Angels. I would never ditch a guy if I'm a fan of something. Right. I'm going to go to see his work and I go, I didn't like that, but holy shit. I've been doing this with Matt Dillon his entire career. I go see all Matt Dillon films. Just like, this guy fucking, he never made the weird wrong turn as the child actor. He didn't overdose and everything. And he's just doing quality work. A lot like Sean Penn. They just constantly did these films, what they wanted to do. And I don't understand. If you loved Raymond, you didn't watch Men of a Certain Age. It was the burn of that thing, the slow burn and the writing and the dynamics of the dudes was so great.
I think what it is that when things reach a certain mass of popularity, it's not like you're going to get people who aren't capable of liking two things, but you're going to get a lot of people when you have that big a creation. You get a lot of people who really are into a certain kind of comedy or they're into sitcoms or whatever it is. And I think if you sat them in a room and, paid them to watch things, they could let it go. But when they watch something and there's a person they recognize and then they all of a sudden plug in their pleasure experience from the other show, and they're waiting for that to happen.
Oh, it's weird, right?
And it's like
getting a new wife.
Yeah.
You're trying to compare it to like this other wife.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? This is the new one.
This is the new thing.
That's
And so that's what I think it is. But you're absolutely right. And you're not understating it. You're not overstating it. That show, I can't think of a show I liked more on television than that show.
It was
John Manfrotati was in it, and he was great.
Oh, he was great.
Who's the guy who...
the white dude.
the guy...
that played the player. He was always going after girls and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Why can't we remember names? But he was he was also... Wasn't he in a Supernatural thing when he was younger? Okay. Scott something. Bakula.
The casting was crazy.
Yeah, it was great.
It was crazy.
Matt Price was I was thinking of, the guy at the salesman.
Yeah.
Having sold stereos, I loved all that sales stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
When you were on Raymond, did it start to just put butts in the seats for comedy touring? The reason I ask this is because it seems these days you can be on TV a lot and it doesn't put butts in the seats. I think there's really, what do you think? About 20 people that we know who they are. They do the theaters and arenas now, and everybody else seems to be at this other paper the room level, no matter if you're on a show for years or what. So did it change for you?
No, not Raymond. Not Raymond, because if I was Raymond, it would have.
Right.
Because but it's a little, and I'm sure there were people at the club level who, as seen on, I mean, as a credit could work for me, maybe on the margins. The only time that I saw any really uptick was when I was a judge in that Last Comic Standing thing.
There we go. Yeah.
So then for a year, my price went up, and I maybe drew more people, but not that much. So I think it's a weird thing. Like, look, Gaffigan says he doesn't even know how it happened. It's just like he did this number of Comedy Central specials. He did a number of things, and then it just all comes together and it reaches critical mass.
Right.
I think what you're talking about is I don't think I quite feel like that things are being papered all the time.
Yeah.
But I think it's a struggle. Whenever I go on the road, I feel responsibility to promote it, and it's hard to promote because I don't want to come on tweeting every 5 minutes. And even if you did tweet every 5 minutes, there's people don't have Twitter,
Yeah.
And I don't have Instagram. I know you probably do.
Yeah, I want to get you on that though too.
I know, but for some reason,
It's just fun. It's better because there's no fucking animals out there, you know? You know what I mean? It's like I enjoy the Andy Kindler photos of walking around the old neighborhood of like, hey, look at this. I walk by that same place every day at the gym where it had the Madonna picture and there's like jewelry and incense in the store.
Oh, yes.
And you're like, what the fuck? And you
That's
took
my
a picture
favorite.
one day. I go, what is that store?
That's my favorite place.
Right? What the fuck is that?
the
Next to the cigar smokers?
the cigar smoker.
Yeah.
And we have 2 cigar smokers stores in our area, and they're fantastic.
Yeah.
Because they're fantastic, but they look like you're entering a different planet.
It's so
where
weird.
everyone is joined by the fact that they like to all smoke cigars.
Yeah.
And then you go past that.
It's so bizarre.
Then they're head shops.
I think it would be great for you to be on there because you have these funny points of view, and they're getting blown out by "fuck Trump." Fuck you libertarian. And meanwhile, here's Andy Kindler with this funny photo and this thing, and it just blows by.
No question. I think I'll look into it. The other thing is, like, I got out of Facebook because Facebook was so terrible for an OCD person.
Garbage, man.
So and then with Zuckerberg, and I can't stand him.
Yeah.
So Twitter I like because it's a short format. Boom, you tell a joke.
I get it, yeah.
But you can still get into that maelstrom of hate.
Woo.
And,
Woo, man.
and so like someone. A couple of weeks ago, like I love David Crosby, right? So I follow him, and I love his goings on,
there.
right? So a couple of weeks ago, he says something political, and the guy goes, "Oh, what?" Comes, "Watch out, children of America! David Crosby is weighing in now." Guy from first of all, David Crosby is known for
His whole life
for being a protester,
Absolutely, his whole life.
And so
Ohio.
Right.
The song "Ohio" is the original.
And he's not coming on to tell you what to do. He's just coming. It's just his
Telling
opinion.
you what's happening.
And so this guy, so I said something to him. He ignored me. But later on, he retweets, like Crosby says to him, "Oh yeah," he goes, "Well, if you're being snarky, I think it's your problem," or something like that.
Yeah.
Or snotty. If you're being snotty, it's your problem. And then, but then the guy retweeted his thing and Crosby responding, and he goes, "Sometimes I love Twitter." That made this idiot's day.
Yeah.
It's
yo,
ridiculous.
totally.
That's not good.
No.
And they go, "Oh man, remember when you heckled Lou Gehrig?" Or I mean, I don't understand the.
It's fucking crazy.
when you
man.
got Lou Gehrig upset on the gramophone Twitter.
Gramophone. Oh man, I absolutely love talking to you. I was pretty excited when I saw you at the airport because I am a big fan of you. I just love you. Like you're this neurotic, crazy dude. I see, like I see, hey, you fucking guys are, like me and Marin are going to the show. You guys are late. Get in here. And I'm like, this guy is great, and you're funny as fuck.
And Joey was cracking me up because
he's just a.
And he started
treasure.
talking about something about a guy in '95. I forget what it was. It was just great.
Can you imagine a round table show where it'd be like, say, you, Joey, a Marin, and say an Ali Wong, let's just say, just throw in these kind of totally different personalities and just talk about weekly stuff.
Well, the thing that was so great was like when we entered it was almost like you're going on. This is a show. You're going on a show that is a repeating show where you get to see other comics in the airport.
Yeah,
and it always happens the same way. You just kind of like. You gravitate towards each other, and then it becomes a whole different existence.
It's beautiful, though.
And that's why I like it when I can get to play festivals.
That's the beautiful thing because this thing that we have, these comedians, when we get together, it's so awesome, right? It's
right.
Like, oh my God. It reminds me a lot, as cheesy as this sounds, when all those 80s bands went to Russia to play the drug thing, and they flew over on the same plane, and it was just...
I haven't seen that. What is this?
It's called... God, I can't remember, but it was all the 80s bands, like Motley Crue, Bon Jovi, these big bands, and they're on a plane to Russia. And it always reminds me of that, like, only us realize, like, maybe your Sunday show was a beatdown. You had some drunk people or a bachelorette party. You're going to the airport just wounded. And then,
that's right.
Oh,
yeah.
Andy.
It's an oasis.
You're like, oh, dude. And you sit next to each other and you talk about how fucking shitty it was. And then you go, I love this. And you get on the plane,
Well, that's also when we're going, like, the thing about getting on that shuttle is we're going.
Oh,
I thought about that a long time that day because it was like we're starting to we're spritzing and we're on this shuttle and we don't know what it's going to be like when we get to the lot,
the new Uber lot,
the new Uber taxi lot, and so my luggage goes sliding. It just went sliding
took
down,
off.
and I've had this luggage for a year, and I still cannot get used to the fact that it rolls in every direction. So it goes down the thing, and it collapses with a loud noise, but it didn't hit anybody on the bus.
Yeah.
But I noticed when I went back to my seat, and I was like saying things like, "Well, sorry, everybody, I don't know what's going on there." This guy, I could see made it like to his friend, made a big roll of the eyes.
Yeah.
Like I'm a crazy guy on the shuttle.
New fucking traveler. Meanwhile, you're like a 1,000,000-mile traveler, right? He's like, this fucking new guy.
Look
had
at
to go
this
see
guy.
his grandkids.
Yeah, this guy can't. Yeah.
Yeah, this guy didn't know how to fucking handle luggage. What was that experience like to be on Last Comic Standing, being the Andy Kindler, the guy that is this bit? What were you sitting in that seat going like, what the fuck?
Oh well, no, because the thing was, did that when I took the decision to make the show because I'd made fun of that show so often,
right?
And so and I really needed the money,
yeah.
And it was like, I didn't know I would get to work with Geraldo, which was amazing, but. The thing was, so I had to like eat a lot of whatever the thing was. Like when I do shows, I go, you don't have to say anything about me taking this job. I you're all coming up with better jokes than I. But the thing that happened to be amazing about it was, I took it, but only on I didn't want to be a Simon Cowell. I didn't want to be mean.
Yeah.
So to me, I was like, I didn't want. To me, it's like not funny to do a roast of somebody who just started or whatever.
Right.
So, and this happened to be because there was a lot of monkeying around on that show, or like, anger from comics who were arbitrarily thrown off or something. I didn't have any of that the whole year. So it was me, Natasha, and Greg, and it was actually a good experience. Once they got to like when they narrowed it down, I felt out of it by then because I don't think it was my place to say, if I like all these comics, not my place to say, well, you did good tonight, but you should open with the barber routine.
Oh yeah,
you know, like
your opening joke was the wrong move.
What comic would really want to relish being in that, or think they could be in that role for somebody else?
That's a brutal role because it is. It is. I remember Kinnison said something that really rung out to me when I was starting. Don't do contests. That was his rule. They say, you got any advice? Don't do contests. He wouldn't say anything else.
Right.
And I realized why. It's because most of America is like, well, if Andy didn't like him, the guy, I guess he's not funny. you know, because they don't know comedy. I mean, these three know comedy, and he didn't win. Maybe he got third, but he didn't win, so he's not funny.
Well, also, it was like, Kennison came out of the whole Star Search. Yeah, so it was like, that show for its time, I think has a little campy element in a way. Like, I love to watch the comics went on there, but I never would go on there. I didn't put down people went on there, but it's like, I think Kennison's like reacting to, at that point, it does seem like it's all this crazy, the way reality shows became.
Right, yeah. I mean, I found Sinbad on there when I was young. I watched comedy on there. Me and my mom, we enjoyed it. When you're young, I didn't understand the differences of comedy. If it just made me laugh, it made me laugh. I was a Pryor freak. I was a Cheech and Chong freak. I worshipped Carlin. I loved Saturday Night Live. I also liked Sinbad.
Right.
That's just how it was. Like, that was a fucking funny bit. and it's...
you see where in Sinbad, I love it so much when he's on Eric Andre's show.
Oh, I love Eric Andre.
I think Eric Andre actually drove him crazy because he kept doing this like, and your answer is, and, and they wouldn't stop.
Oh.
They wouldn't stop. And finally, I think Sinbad destroyed the machine. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. The example I always give is like someone like Brian Regan or even someone like Gaffigan. It's like their act is clean, and not that I care. I don't care that it's clean. I don't think they care that it's clean. They're just funny people.
Yeah.
And so you can be really funny and be a huge crowd pleaser too, Yeah.
Nate Bargatze, one of the funniest guys I know.
Perfect
one of the funniest
example.
guys I know, man. And I watch him a lot and try to write cleaner. And I watch Maron a lot. Maron will say things once in a while like, you don't need that fuck there. And he's right. And I'll drop the fuck and you get the insecurity. But then after a while you go, oh, it is working. You get just so addicted to a big fucking smasher laugh. To me, it truly is a drug. But it's also... it's just something I'm like always chasing, like a hit song, not a hit song. I don't care about a hit song, but a great song where it just has that hook. Yeah. And you go, holy shit, this song has got a hook.
Yeah. When something is great, it's okay that it's a hook.
Yeah. Because that's Petty, man, the fucking guy.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's a perfect example because all of it. Like, you keep thinking, you could think about the songs he did, and then you could sit there for like an hour and you would keep coming up with more. Not just hit songs, but like anthemic.
Yeah.
You don't have to live like a refugee. And,
Breakdown. Yeah. All these great anthems. You go.
Yeah.
Whoa.
She was a good girl.
Crazy about Elvis.
It's so great.
Oh my God, he is such a god.
I miss him. Him I miss a lot. I mean, not saying I don't miss other people, but the way he past was bad.
I miss him. I miss Brody Stevens.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I miss him.
He is. That's such a huge loss, and also it's almost like you can't capture the definition of what comedy is in a way more than him. Like one time he had this joke during the 2008 economic thing. It was like a big. Everybody, all those big companies went out of business and everything, and it was a recession. He goes, "I'm cutting back. I'm no longer having the L.A. Weekly delivered. I'm doing my part." So he was, to me, a perfect example of someone who we wish could have been happier.
I
But
know.
besides that, just plugged in on a almost supernatural or surreal level to the core of what's funny and also the core of what's sad in a way,
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm doing a lot. What was this thing? I'm doing a lot of Lebanese, Pakistani modeling.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I just got to land in a movie. It shoots in Chatsworth. It's a solo scene on a yoga mat. Just oh my god, I'm doing modeling from the Pakistan like a razor or some kind of razor commercial. Oh my god, I mean
Andy Kindler is here. So I made like for years not before anybody knew who he was, but back in the days when like it was Zach and we would play this place. I forgot that had hookahs, and I forgot the name of the place, but the Gypsy Cafe, I think is what it was. But he was just for years would be creating this character that seems fully formed every time. I met him back in 1990.
Holy smokes.
He came up to me. He was I was doing something in Seattle, and he came up to me with a film crew and interviewing, and you're Andy Kindler, and I'll be coming down. I'm coming down to Los Angeles. And just this is amazing. I mean, really, maybe the funniest person, ever.
It makes me sometimes. I got his photos here and over here, and his baseball card, and his bracelets, and I got the laminate over there from his special. I opened the special shoot, and
were you there when at the tribute? Because I was there at the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
And Jeff Ross, that could maybe been the funniest thing.
That was one of the greatest
lines I've ever heard in my life.
I hate you. I hate you. You know, the whole thing was like, I'm not going to be your friend. He's like, you're going to be my friend. Oh my God.
But he said and I was saying, Brody's friends and family that were sitting right behind me in a booth.
Yeah.
And when Jeff Ross got up there and goes, now that I've heard, a lot of Brody's friends, you can see why he committed suicide.
Oh man.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I don't even think I delivered it the right way.
Yeah.
They burst out laughing.
Oh yeah. That I don't know. I think that it's I'm never going to be able to get over that. And
That's true.
And I go to the store and I just hear him there. I feel him, and I miss him big time, man. It makes me cry. It really does.
Sneaks up on you too, because he's like someone that was always part of my consciousness.
Just so warm too, So it's wild to think about. 10 years ago, I didn't have any of these friends. 10 years
that's
ago,
amazing.
next month, December.
Is that when you started?
December 6, 2009. I didn't have any of these friends, and now I cannot imagine my life without these people. So when one goes away, it tears me the fuck up.
Yeah.
It tears me up, man, because it's just like, wow, it's I can't believe what these people mean to me at this point in my life. Like, I was just I call them Hollywood tumbleweeds. I played music all my life, and all of a sudden now I'm not playing music. My friends have kids, have married, moved on. They're in Santa Monica. They're at soccer practice, and I'm just like, oh, what do I do? And then I get a whole new batch of lunatics, and they're so deep in my heart. And like I said, when I saw you at the airport, I was like, that's fucking Andy.
That is meant to be. I know we don't like to say these type of things, like things are meant to be, but on some level they are meant to be, even on ways that we can't figure it out. But come after me, you atheists. Yeah. Come after me. I'm saying that the the thing is, like, when I always crack when people go, if there's a God, they go, if you believe in God, how come there's death and things like
cancer stuff? Like that.
Whoever said that was going to solve, people who have been members of religions for thousands of years, I think they know people die.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean. So the basis of it is in, like, I'm going to get in this religion. If this
And I'm not dying.
if this God guy
Yeah.
could figure out and make sure that everything's right, then I'll believe in that person.
I'm on board as long as I'm not dying.
It's so
scary though,
one-dimensional.
right?
What's
It's
that?
scary to die now. It's weird because as I was getting this fucking neck procedure done, I laid there and I realized, you know what? I don't need anything at all except for comedy and these friends and to be able to get up each day. That's it. Everything else is all bullshit.
Well, it simplifies your life and it makes your focus
It does.
just on, especially when you're going through pain. Because you like Ram Dass at all?
No, who's that?
Ram Dass. Ram Dass. He's like the Be Here Now guy. He was
I don't know him.
He was Timothy Leary's partner at Harvard, and used to
right.
be he used to be at Harvard, and then he went into he dropped acid, and then he wrote these books, and he's almost dying now, and he has like a couple of videos out where it's just unbelievable the way that he approaches the now moment, you
Yeah.
know. And so it's weird because when it's cheap in like when it's taken in and it's like into something like The Secret or something like that,
Right.
or people think you create your reality. That's not what anyone's saying, because the Jews didn't create the Holocaust.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just a misunderstanding.
Right.
But so it sounds like corny, but some of these things are actually true.
They're 100% true.
Yeah.
I believe that. And that's why I don't
And
engage.
I have doubt too.
Oh,
You know, it's
yeah.
like people go,
Oh, fuck yeah.
It's like people go, oh, so like, do you believe in whatever? And so, no, I don't believe it. Really don't believe in anything. You could get me on a bad day, and
Yeah.
you know, and I am scared of dying. But actually, I feel like more. I'm proud of the way whoever is in nature, or whatever, how we age.
Yeah.
Because the way we age, if you can keep most of your parts in shape, you start to realize it is just about the moment.
Yeah.
And I'm no more ready to die now than I was when I was 30. And so it's in a sense, it's always like this. You could write your own ticket and go, well, you get a cold, and I can go, oh my God, this is it. But who knows? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. You know who's Rory? He's a great comic, Rory
Scovel?
Yeah, he had something to say a couple weeks ago. It was like, nobody knows what happened. He goes, these guys who are like so angry about people who believe this or believe that. Nobody knows what happens when you die. Nobody. And it's really true.
true.
You can come up with all of these things about how I can show you mathematically that the chances of us continuing in some other form, blah, 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 it doesn't matter. The person has not gone through it yet to see what will happen.
Yeah.
And I feel like the more you can, like, you just do comedy because you love it, the more you can just be drawn to things in your life, music, whatever it is, then you can turn your mind off.
I think the only thing that makes me mad about comedy is how much I love it, because now I don't want to die. If you would have just caught me 10 years ago, I'd be like,
Right.
fuck it. You know, I remember one time I was on a plane and it fucking dropped like 10,000
Oh,
feet.
my God.
And I was just sitting there and I was like, I'm good. You know what I mean? I'm good. But now I'm like, holy shit, I quit sugar. Okay, I quit, you know, I work out every day. I gotta see this through.
You know, it's so funny that you said it, because, like, my wife and I, the better our, this is going to sound like a cliche, but, the better our marriage gets, which just happens to be getting better, the more we miss each other. Like, it's like, I can't leave now. I can't go now. You know, it's almost like you build up the fears.
Yeah.
So the truth is that whatever it is that you can't go through life not being intimate or not embracing things, and those things do always remind you that you could lose them.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, so it's like when my therapist had me focus on, yes, you're anxious about going out of town. I'm not anxious about the plane. Some things I don't care about.
Yeah.
But I'm anxious about, what will will I see my wife again? And
Yeah.
and when I looked at it that way, I was like, okay, it's natural to be anxious, and then I don't have to walk around pretending not to be anxious or telling yourself you're crazy,
Absolutely.
or not going on the road. Because I could see a life where someone would go, I'm not getting on a plane. I'm not getting on a train.
Oh.
I'm staying in this cabin right here
Fuck that.
with a mountain of weed. But you'd get tired, I think.
Mountain of weed. Yeah, you get tired.
I think
you
you-
get
you-
tired of everything. Like you go, I'm only doing this, and you go, I'm burnt on that. I'm good. I'm gonna stay home now. Oh, I gotta get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
That's the rock and roll life I've always lived.
Yeah, and if you don't have those things, it's like you lose you wouldn't want it to be the same way all the
Yeah.
time. You know.
What do you got coming up, dude? You got some?
I
things
do.
coming?
I don't know when this is coming out.
This will be out not this Monday, but the following Monday.
Oh, that'll be good. Is that the week of Thanksgiving?
I'll tell you right now. Let's look, Big Daddy.
Big Daddy is coming down the tracks.
You got it. It'll be out
You-
the 25th.
You got it.
Yes,
It's
Andy
Brody's
Kindler.
Andy Kindler Brody. Yeah, that's perfect because I will be at Union Hall.
Oh God, that's a great place.
I love it.
Holy
I
shit.
love that place. The Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Yes,
And then
the 30th.
And then the Sunday, December 1st, I'll be at the Good Comedy Theater in Philadelphia. This is the
Awesome.
first time I've ever plugged something that was at the time period or could make sense. Usually it's like,
That's great.
please plug the fact that I'm very nice.
Oh fuck. I wanted to say thank you so much for doing the show. I absolutely love you, and
I love you too, man.
It's just.
We connected very quickly that way.
Yeah, and I could talk to you for hours. I'd love to talk to people that have been in comedy for years and years and years. I don't know shit. I'm just a fucking dot in the world of comedy, just a speck of 10 years. But guys like you, just full journeyman, Marin, you know.
But you can't discount all the years that you,
No, not at all.
because those are also,
Well, I've done 4,500 shows. So
yeah, that's,
I'm not-
you can't discount that. It's
I'm
like,
not discounting that. I'm just saying it's great to talk.
because I'm telling you, you can't do it anymore, and I'm discounting. I'm just kidding.
I love my favorite thing is Burr says all the time, like, look, man, just don't quit. Mm-hmm. You're not going to get anything if you quit. You're going to possibly not get anything if you stay in it, but you definitely might get something.
That is absolutely the best advice
I
you can
love
give.
it. I
You
love
don't
it.
know what you're going to get. Maybe you won't get anything,
Yeah.
but this is what it's about. And if you stop it, you're certainly not going to get anything.
I've already made it. I
Yeah.
just work. I get to work. I get to hang with you guys and do comedy. So
And you
that's it.
people listening, eat your hearts out.
Yeah, you got it. This one's for Brody Stevens. Yes. All right. Thank you, Andy.
Hey, this was
Kindler.
great. Thank
I
you for
love
having me.
dude,
And this couch, I'll be
Oh.
sending you a bill for my
yeah, this
chiropractor
fucking
or
couch
something.
Sucks.
Well,
I mean, that's the problem. It's too good. And
then
we're
you can
short.
you can't slump down. Yeah, we're
Can't
short.
slump down. I got neck surgery, so I gotta sit sideways like this.
Maybe
so
that's what we needed
so I don't get
to
exorcist.
get this conversation going.
Yeah, that's it. You got any couches you don't need? I love that whole Ventura Boulevard going out of business. You've been in business 30 years.
I also love the whole venture, the area that we live in. I don't like my couch anymore,
Yeah.
so I just bring it
There it
out
is.
any day. Right? They just put it on the street,
That's it.
or is it worse? They go, these people are pretty goddamn lucky to get my 30-year-old mattress. I hope they appreciate it.
Yeah, hey, I'm hooking you up with a freebie here. There's only 2 bed bucks.
Oh, that made it hurt.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave a review on iTunes, and check out the YouTube channel, Dean Del Rey, and the Patreon bonus episodes, DeanDelRey.com, all your tour dates. See ya.